Are you ready to hear?
Yes, sir.
Our leader, teacher, and guide. I refer to him as a divine man. If you look that word up in the dictionary, divine refers or means one or something proceeding directly from God. I am not exaggerating. My dear family of Detroit, you're about to receive a divine message from a divine man, no question, from the divine God. Are you ready? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said the solution to black people's problem is a divine solution. It's not something that can be written through legislation. That's why civil rights before human rights don't make no sense. The solution to our problem is a divine one. If you were all spooks and spirits, God would have sent you a spook and a spirit. But since you are real, live people, he sends you a real and live man in the person of the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. Are you ready? Here he is. All praise is due to Allah. The Honorable Louis Farrakhan Muhammad.
Thank you. 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 In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, the one God to whom all praise is due, the Lord of the worlds, to him do I submit and seek refuge. We thank him for visiting with us, sending his light, wisdom, and guidance to us in the person of a human being. Yes, sir. The great Mahdi that the Muslim world has been looking for, and the Messiah that the Christians and the Jews have been looking for. He came not to those who were seeking him, but he came to a people blind, deaf and dumb, lost under the power of a wicked government and people. We thank him for his visit with us and for giving us a body of knowledge that will free us from the chains of mental ignorance, slavery.
Yes, sir.
And not only free us, but free all of our people wherever they're found on the earth, and free every human being from the evils of racism, sexism, materialism, and any kind of other ism that is other than God. We thank Allah, the Most High, for Moses and the Torah, for Jesus and the gospel, for Prophet Muhammad and the Holy Quran. If I lived to be 1,000, I don't think I could ever thank Allah enough for raising up in our midst a divine leader, teacher, and guide, a messenger for us who have never had a divine warner from God in this Western Hemisphere. I thank Allah for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the man who taught me what I know and is making me the man that I hope to become. I greet all of you, no matter what your race or religion. I greet you all in peace, offering you peace. We say it in Arabic, Assalamu alaikum, which means peace be unto you. Thank you. When we say we come to you in peace, what do we mean? We mean that you don't have to fear anything from our mouth or from our hands that will disturb your peace, unless your mind and heart is covered over with a veil of falsehood and you have believed false ideas and concepts and are laboring and are heavily laden and burdened under these concepts. Then this truth will shake up the old thoughts, giving you a new thought, a new idea, to make us ultimately a new people. For in the scriptures of the Bible, the Christ makes this statement, behold, I make all things new. Well, you must ask, what's wrong with the old? That Christ would make a statement, behold, I make all things new. That's a big statement. That's not a lightweight statement. He said there'll be a new heaven and a new earth, and the former things will pass away. So that means that if we don't make a change, we will pass away with the old. If the world doesn't make a change, this world, to use the language of the rappers, is out of here. If the church doesn't make a change, if the mosque doesn't make a change, if religion doesn't make a change, if politics doesn't make a change, if economics and the social order doesn't change, all of it will be swept away in the rising tide of that which God makes new. This is why nobody that reads Bible or Quran believes that this world has any permanence. Most scholars of religion know that we are at the end of this system of things. So everybody is now dissatisfied. Everybody.
And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that where there is dissatisfaction, dissatisfaction will bring about what? Change. If there is 100% dissatisfaction, it leads to a 100% change, which means that the world right now is going to undergo a complete revolution. Some of it will be peaceful, some of it will be bloody. But the revolution will not come from the barrel of a gun. The revolution will come from the mouth of truth. Because when truth comes, falsehood must vanish. And falsehood is forever a vanishing thing. And when truth comes, it forces us to make changes in accord with truth. So the real revolution is not a revolution of politics. The real revolution is a complete change in the thinking of the human being. Allah says in the Quran, no man can come between, or nothing can come between a man and his heart save Allah. Again, the Quran teaches us that Allah will never change the condition of a people until they change themselves. Meaning, from the scholar's point of view, a change of their hearts. Isaiah the prophet talks about a heart transplant, that God will take out of you a heart of stone and give the people a heart of flesh. Then Malachi talks about a prophet arising that will turn the hearts of the children to their fathers and turn the hearts of the fathers to their children, lest God come and smite the earth with a curse. So the heart is the key today. But it is the place where we hide all of our wickedness. Now, brothers and sisters, they say no man knows the heart but God. We look on the outside of things and say, oh, she looks wonderful. He looks wonderful. But God looks within, and he tries the hearts of people. That's where the real person is. The real person is not confessing this faith or that faith. I'm a Christian. I'm a Muslim. I'm a this, I'm a that. Yes, you can say anything you want out of your mouth. But I think Jesus said it so perfect. He said, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Now, since the heart is the critical issue, how do you reach the hearts of people to make a change there in the heart of the man? It's not talking about this physical heart. The heart of the matter is the essence of the matter. If you go to the heart of the subject, you go to the core of it. The place where all other things are leading to and emanating from. The heart is the central point. The heart, according to psychologists, represents the core core of the person's thinking, that place from which the emotions spring. It's deeper than the place from which emotions spring.
Go ahead, dear Apostle.
It's the place where all thinking, right thinking or wrong thinking, has its root.
Go ahead, dear Apostle.
The world is messed up, not because God did something to man, but the world is messed up because man has followed the devices and the desires of his or her own heart, having done those things which we should not have done, and left undone the things which we know we should have done. So each one of us, in our own personal life, in our own family life, in our business life, in our religious life, is feeling the pangs of a trouble that's coming up now, politically, socially, morally, educationally. Everything is being upset now. And you are also being upset. You are at war with yourself because knowledge is coming, directing your path one way, but the evil of a man's heart is at war against truth. So you put your desires and we put our desires above the direction of truth, above the exigency of time, above the propriety of what we should do and must do. Our own foolish desires plague us. As a man thinketh, so is he. If your mind is messed up, that's who you are. You can't be a messed up Christian. Just think of that. I'm a Christian and messed up. Wait a minute. How could you be?
Teaching good, dear Holy Master.
Thank you.
Any evidence, dear Apostle?
You can't be a Muslim and messed up. You can't, you have problems, yes, but to be so upset, feeling a sense of loss, feeling a sense of not knowing what direction to take, you can't be a true Christian or a true Muslim and have those kinds of feelings. You know why? Paul said to the Christians, let this mind be in you, the same that was in Christ Jesus.
Go ahead, dear Apostle.
You gotta let
Go ahead, dear Apostle.
his mind be your mind. And if his mind becomes our mind, then the Lord is our shepherd. We shall not want. But when you keep him outside the door, knocking on the gatepost of your ear, trying to get in, and the scripture says, him that hath ears, let him hear, because by the organ of hearing the truth will enter. And if the truth enters the ear, it goes right to the core of your thinking. If it takes root in the heart, the spiritual center of the human being, then the heart begins to change from a cold, stony heart to a flesh heart, from a cold human being, cold, frozen against the will of God. where God's will remains outside of the individual, because he locks God's will out by sticking his finger in his ears so he won't hear the truth. A true Christian is growing into the mind of Christ. A true Muslim is growing into the mind of Muhammad. This Quran, revealed to the world through Prophet Muhammad of Arabia 1400 years ago, is God's thinking about every subject that deals with every sphere of human endeavor. So when Muhammad accepted to live the Quran, he became the living word. So Muhammad didn't call us to worship him. He said, come follow him. Come on. Well, if you follow Muhammad, this Quran becomes your way of thinking. And if this Quran becomes your way of thinking, then God's way has become your way. So when you speak, God speaks. When you think, God is thinking. When you act, God is acting. The Lord is our shepherd. We shall not want. A Muslim is one who surrenders his will entirely to do the will of God. If I am a slave and I surrender my will totally to my master, I become what my master makes me. If I surrender my will to God, that his will becomes my will, then I become the living, active agent of the divine being. Do you hear me? Good, good, good. Paul's duty, according to Christian theology, Paul's duty was to feed the heart of the people that Christ would grow up in them. Not that you part your hair like he wore his, or that you try to imitate his personality, but the principles that make Christ Christ, that make Muhammad Muhammad. They were in the world before Jesus, before Muhammad, before Abraham. So if you love Muhammad and love Jesus, you should want to be Muhammad and be Jesus. You should want to eat what Muhammad ate. Come on, let's talk about it. If you eat, and I'm not talking about necessarily just physical food, because a man is what he eats, then a man is what he thinks, and he thinks according to what his mind is being fed. So when Jesus said to his disciples, particularly Peter, lovest thou me? He said, Master, you know I love you. Feed my sheep.
Come on. There you go.
Then he didn't stop. He asked him again.
Yes, sir.
Driving the point home, Peter,
Yes, sir.
do you love me?
Go ahead, Peter.
Master, you know I love you. Good. Feed my sheep.
Yes, sir.
Do you love me, Peter? Third time.
Good teaching, Peter.
Feed my
Yes, sir.
lambs. This doesn't mean have a program where you give out rotten cheese that's been stored in government warehouses for the last 40 years. Has more embalming fluid in it than all the cadavers in the cemetery. It doesn't mean have a breakfast program. That's all good, dear Christian pastors and Muslim imams and leaders. That's all good. Certainly you get benefit for feeding the hungry. But the people are starved spiritually. So Jesus was not talking about just feeding the stomach of the man. Feed the heart. The word of God, that a change would take place, a revolution would take place in the thinking of the man and the thinking of the woman. So as a man thinketh, so is he. If you can change the way I think, you can change the way I am, then you can change the future course of events. Because I make the events, I create the news. The news is not created by the television or the radio. They go and get the news, don't they? 25 years ago, on Sunday, July 26th, riots began in Detroit.
Listen.
The news media didn't say, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow, this is Saturday night's news. Tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, there's going to be a riot. The blacks are going to riot and burn down their neighborhoods. Many are going to be killed. They didn't say that. They were caught unaware. So all they could do was report the news, but people made the news. Now when you can make people, then you can predict the news. When you can change the thinking of human beings and make them real human beings, then you end riots, you end rebellions, you end murder, you end robbery, thievery, you end poverty, because the real condition of poverty and homelessness, nakedness and squalor and disease is the spiritual hunger to be fed properly, that there become a change of heart and mind. Behold, I make all things new. Beloved family, it is a great honor for me to be here in Detroit. I'm always happy to come to this great city. I'm always happy to meet with my family in Detroit. This is a strange city of great consequence. It's one of the few major cities in America where 76% of the city's population is black. And at the same time, 85% of the city's homeless are black. A large segment of the black population, nearly 70% of the homes are headed by a female. In 1991, Governor John Engler authorized budget cuts that would eliminate over 80,000 people from getting welfare. The majority of those who were cut reside in Detroit. The city was founded in 1702 by a man named Sir Cadillac.
Go ahead now, leader. Teach your Cadillac.
And this city became known as the Motor City because it was in this city that the greatest of American industry, the automobile industry, came to being with the invention of the automobile by Mr. Ford.
Yes, sir.
This city became a beacon light of hope for black brothers and sisters in the South who all their lives lived on the farm and were sharecropping for wicked sharecrop owners or owners of plantations. So the Southern brother decided to leave the farm and come to cities like Detroit and Chicago and Cleveland, because this was to be the promised land of black economic activity. We were all but free labor then. Like foreigners are today, we were coming from the South. We worked very cheaply, and the cars were made by many of your hands. So this city became the Mecca of black economic progress. More black people owned homes in Detroit. More black people were going into business in Detroit. But as progress was made, so-called progress, the Southern brother and sister began to find that the factories was another hell of an experience. We died from working in factories under less than human conditions. Many of our people died in the coal mines, in the steel mills, under less than proper conditions. But nobody cared because these were black, poor workers who were trying to get ahead. Just remember your father, your grandfather, your mother, your grandmother. They worked in sweatshops. They worked in factories to send you to college that you may make a better life for yourself and your people. Where's the better life? You are worse today than ever in the history of this city and the history of our sojourn in America. You have less to show for your money, less to show for your labor, less to show for your sacrifice in this great city of Detroit. Michigan has the world's largest concentration of Muslims outside of the holy city of Mecca. 250,000 Muslims. I'm talking about in the Western Hemisphere.
Go ahead, dear apostle.
And the greater percentage of these Muslims live in Detroit and Dearborn. Now listen, Muslims,
wherever you are. And this Quran is, light is. But you Muslims, I give you the parable of Jesus. What man having a light would hide it under a bushel basket? With all of this knowledge that you bring to this world, you have satisfied yourself to go into business and make money and become professionals, leaving the people in a state of ignorance, yet claiming Prophet Muhammad as your guide. I say to you that if Prophet Muhammad were alive today, and he is alive today, he would spank you, Muslims. He would condemn you for your inactivity in terms of propagation of a word that would clean up the ignorance and savagery that you meet every day in the community from my brothers and sisters who have not been blessed with the knowledge that you have already, that you grew up with, that was in your home and in your heart from the time you were born. So, if a civilized man and woman fail to perform their duty, what must be done? What is the duty of a civilized person? If you have been taught the manners of decent, civilized society, it is your duty to teach civilization to the uncivilized. But you have not done that. Instead, you feed from our ignorance. You set up a liquor store to keep us drunk. And you are the owner of much of the liquor stores. I must talk to you honestly. I don't want you to think or say that Brother Farrakhan is anti-Arab, anti-Jew, anti-white. No, that gives you an excuse to stick your finger in your ears and not hear what I am saying. But if you don't hear, my mother used to say, you will feel. A hard head makes a soft something. Well, anyway. Y'all remember Mama telling us that, right? Okay. Now, I don't want anyone to take what I say personally, because I'm not trying to belittle anyone, hurt anyone's feelings. I just want to tell truth, and I hope you will open to it. Let it enter the heart. Let's make a change. Listen, to my Muslim brothers and sisters, God has given us a very wonderful way of life.
Yes, sir.
I would say it's the best. But to see so many hundreds of thousands and millions of our people who don't know anything about it, that is sad. And for the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, to have worked among the Arabs for 23 years, civilizing savage tribes, cleaning them up from alcohol, from the disrespect and abuse of their women, uniting them and making them lovers of knowledge and principled people and courageous people, that they would carry the banner of Islam to the ends of the earth.
for us to live in the midst of all of this ignorance and know what we know and fail to give what we know to others, then their ignorance is charged to us. Look at what Jesus said.
Go ahead, dear apostle. Plain teaching.
Him to whom much is given, much is what? Required. Jesus said, are the blind responsible for the seeing, or are the seeing responsible for the blind? God is saying to you, if you see and you know that human beings don't see, you see because you're walking by the light, then those that walk in darkness, their condition demands that any of us who have light, that we carry it to every dark corner, that we share the light with all those who walk in darkness. You agree? You agree? But what has happened to the Muslim community in America, what is happening to Jews, what is happening to Christians, is that we've all become so self-centered and greedy that we want to live well and we don't care if our neighbor lives well. So the neighbor's condition gets worse while yours gets better. And then jealousy and envy arise in the heart of the neighbor because you're moving ahead and he's moving behind. So the moment he gets a match in his hand, he reduces you to himself because you didn't use what you had to lift people. I say this with deep humility. Mayor Coleman Young has been the mayor of Detroit since 1974. He's the longest reigning black mayor in this country. But when he came into prominence as a mayor, the city was already dying. And as people flee the city and business flees the city and industry flees the city, the tax base erodes. Service to the people declines. Money for education is cut. So the less knowledge, the less education, the more poverty increases, the more want increases, the more despair and hopelessness increase, the more violence, bloodshed, death and destruction becomes the way of life in our community. When the Jews had the businesses that Palestinians and Arabs and Koreans have inherited, the Jews never had to place themselves behind bulletproof glass, because Jewish merchants, although they too were living from the black community, they had a kind way of dealing with black people. They had a smooth, more effective way. The idea, keep the cash register ringing, but they would treat you with a measure of respect. You had not sunk to the level that you have sunk to today. Now, when the Jews left, we didn't move in and set up business for ourselves. Others came to America and set up business in our community with the same idea. Take the money, leave the community, build your own community at the expense of this community. So the community became more and more deprived, more and more destitute, more and more hopeless, more and more despair. So now you have to have bulletproof glass in the local candy store because somebody's coming to rob you. Boy, it's tough. And the robbery is getting so vicious that the robber is so cold, he does not care if he shoots you dead, if you have something, and more so if you have nothing after he wasted time pulling a gun on you to rob you and you don't have anything. He kills you for having nothing, like himself. I thought you had something. Well, die for having nothing. Now, when you gotta live in a city like that, the mayor has done, I believe, the best that a man could do under the condition that he's working under. Is the police chief here? Chief? Chief, you have a heck of a job on your hand, as you know, and we know. To have policemen working at a time when state and city funds are diminished, where you can't give a policeman a decent salary. So if the police can't get a decent salary, he wants the same thing that everybody else wants, but his life is on the line every time he puts on his uniform, or even when he's out of duty, he's still got a duty. His life is on the line. Now, when you add to that the domestic problems that a policeman faces, stressful job. When he comes home, he's irritated. Thank God he got home tonight. He puts his gun down, but he's arguing with his wife. The children do something. He smacks his wife. You go examine the policeman. Examine the state of their minds. Examine how much money there is in drugs, in gambling, in whoring or prostitution. And then look at a human being who doesn't make enough, whose life is on the line. Then you slide him a little money to keep the dope going. You slide him a little money to keep the gambling going. You slide him a little money to keep the prostitution going. And as long as you got a corrupt policeman who will take a bribe to turn his back on lawlessness, as long as you got judges that will turn their back for $1 on lawlessness, as long as graft is present, we ourselves are destroying the social fabric. When we decided by God's help to go into a certain section in Washington, after being invited by the tenants to clean up that section, and we accepted that challenge, we had less problems from the drug dealers than we had from the police. Wait. Please. I'm not saying this to condemn policemen. That's not my aim. But brothers and sisters, look, Chief, please. You know, The drug people know that we love them. They're our people.
That's right.
We don't go in there to show off. We don't go in there to take advantage of our people. We love our people. The drug man is one of our people. Misguided, but he's one of our people. So we don't go in there saying that we're better than he, because we were doing some of the same thing yesterday until truth entered the ear and made a change in our hearts. And we became a new and regenerated human being. Well, as we became new, as Malcolm Little, the man whom you honor by wearing this X, as Malcolm was once a thief, a pimp, a robber, a misuser of women, but truth came, entered the ear, and changed his heart, and he became a new individual that you can admire today. But you're not admiring Malcolm Little. You're admiring the man that underwent a change. And every person deserves the right to hear the truth and make a decision whether they're going to make a change or remain as they are. The drug boys didn't draw guns on us. It was the police who drew guns. What did they draw guns for? Because some, not in the top echelon, but in that middle management group, they were profiting from the suffering of our people in drugs. In New York City, police were organizing young black people to go and sell drugs. And when they got out of line, the police, who have a legal right to arrest or to use deadly force when necessary, kill these young men when they get out of line. This is true. The city is suffering now in every way. On Halloween, in this city, more so than any other city in America, people just go and burn down homes. I mean, look at the condition. Can you city more so than any other city in America? People just go and burn down homes. I mean, look at the condition. Can you imagine, for fun, we burn down people's homes, not caring whether men, women, and children are in it, their whole life's possessions gone. Sometimes in neighborhoods where the insurance company doesn't want to give you insurance. Some of these people have worked in the factories for years and paid for their homes, only to find them burned down on Halloween night by insane, sick people. The school system is gone to hell. White people have fled the city. They don't like the public school system. They're putting their children in private schools. This is the only so-called civilized, advanced country in the world that is producing every year hundreds of thousands of functional illiterates. Children graduating from high school reading on a 7th grade level. I am saying to you that this is not an accident. Anytime a man can send a telescope in space and stand down on the earth and correct something that is thousands of miles above the earth and send people up to it to walk in space and correct it, and got all of these human problems and has not the ability to correct this. They don't have the will to correct it, but they do have the knowledge to correct it. The problems of the cities are not insurmountable. The government thinks all you have to do is throw money at a problem. The government condemns violence. Every intelligent, sane person doesn't like to see violence. You sometimes label Farrakhan a preacher of violence, although there never has been any violence attached to my life or to those who follow me. They don't bother anybody. They will fight if you attack them, but they won't fight you or aggress against you. They won't do that. You abhor violence, you say. Most of the people in this room who are registered voters are Democrats. Very few are Republicans. I'm all right. I'm all right. Since the Republicans have been in office for 12 years without your vote, 90% of the black vote, 85 to 90%, always went to the Democratic candidate. So, Nixon got in office without you. Ford came in office without you. Reagan came in office without you. Bush came in office without you. Now the Democrats say we have to get back middle America, the vote that we have lost, so we can't show that we are catering to the needs of black and poor people, which has always been the cry of the Democratic Party. So the Democratic nominee, in order to show middle white America that he's not going to pander to the needs of black people, he goes to Jesse Jackson's Rainbow Convention and then insults Reverend Jackson and attacks Sister Soldier to show white people, I'm not catering to this Negro. He slapped Jesse in the face. Jesse, like a loyal Democrat, put 7 million new voters on the rolls. Reverend Jackson, like a good Democrat, when Dukakis disrespected him. When Mondale disrespected him, he still stayed within the party and gave up really fighting for the masses that went out to work for him, and they gave him a chance to make a speech if he would condemn me and repudiate me. They give him a big speech. I'm not angry. I understand. You know, when you understand, you haven't got time for that. Reverend Jackson, no matter what his faults are, he's one of the brightest, most brilliant, not only black men, but he's one of the most brilliant human beings of our day. He has a role to play. But Jesse loves white people more than he loves his own base. Therefore, he doesn't want to be known as a black leader. He wants to be universally accepted. You go to Boston, where Mayor Flynn, an Irish Catholic, is growing in political power. You see if he will deny his Irish Catholic base. That is your base. Then you move out from your base to attract other races, other ethnic people, other religions and nationalities to your cause, but you never deny your base. This is what is wrong with most of our politicians. They want acceptance from white people more than to work for the raising of the condition of black people. This is wrong, brothers. This is wrong. They'll make you think you've become a racist. How can any white man call a black person a racist? You got a hell of a nerve. If I am a racist, you shouldn't call me that with your mouth tripping with the blood of all the darker people of the earth who have suffered under white supremacy. We haven't hung any white people. No matter how brutal black officers can be sometimes, they don't go in the white community and knock a white woman down and beat her in the presence of members of the white community. The white community would kill every black cop that came in that community if they beat up a white woman and mistreated a white man or abused a white child. And you know that's true. So when we go in their community, we arrest them with respect. Sir, Would you step this way, please? Ma'am, may I see your driver's license? When it comes to us, pull over! Get your black aid out of the car right away! The people all over the country, the black poor, the Hispanic poor, the white poor, are getting tired of abuse and neglect and the lying of politicians, the deceit of government. The people are getting tired of it. In this recent primary season, less than 20% of those who have the right to vote and are registered to vote exercise that right. Now you, as an intelligent person, think about 80% of those who have that precious right to vote said, I ain't voting. I'm not voting. Well, will you cast a vote for Bush? No. Would you cast a vote for Gore? No. Would you cast a vote for Clinton? No. What you gonna do? I'm out of it. I'm out. Now, brothers and sisters, that is serious. Because in a democratic society, supposedly, where you have the right to vote, and you don't exercise that right, it says that you are disenchanted with politics, with the politicians, with their way of doing business, and you want change. Ross Perot, a rich billionaire, said, according to his words, that running for the presidency was fun. Was fun. Think about it. Fun. 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 A rich man has nothing more in life to do. Let's have fun. Have fun with what? Have fun with whom? With the dissatisfaction of millions of Americans, mostly white, who wanted change and saw in him hope for change. And then all of a sudden, when the press pressed him, as the press will do. Thank God for the press. Because if you can't handle the media, don't bother with this kind of thing. I mean, the media will subject you to scrutiny that they themselves can't handle. In the media, you got homosexuals, lesbians, people have girlfriends, boyfriends. Some of them are thieves, cutthroats, all kind of stuff in the media. But they got the camera, and they got the microphone, and they're not running for no office. So they don't have nobody looking up under their dress. But everybody that will run, they pick up your clothes. And they want to peep under. What you got hiding up under there? Come on. So here's a man running for the presidency. Have you smoked reefer? You got him nervous. He said, well, when I was in college, I smoked it, but I didn't inhale it. I didn't inhale it. I didn't inhale it. Women come out of the closet. I slept with him. Oh, I know him. I've slept with him. Well, he's all right. Have you slept with so-and-so? Who, me? I categorically deny this. It's a lie. I've never slept with anyone other than my wife and my dog and you know, a little humor is always good, you know. Excuse me. Brothers and sisters, the Bible says, "O ye generation of vipers." Jesus called this an adulterous generation. Now, if you find a man running for high office that has committed adultery in the midst of an adulterous generation, why make that a qualification to disqualify him when all of you are disqualified by that same qualification? Let's talk. If you found out that a presidential candidate was a homosexual, let's tell it. Let's tell it. But before homosexuals came out of the closet, you mean no anchor man or woman in television was a homosexual or lesbian? And would you turn the light on yourself on the 6 o'clock news and say, I, anchorman so-and-so, have been a homosexual for 20 years and I love it? Would you do that? Now you expose something that has been in your presidents, in your congressmen, in the greatest of your leaders. Most of them were adulterers. Most of them were whoremongers. Many of them were crooked men. But you kept showing the bright side of the moon. The moon has a dark side, but you want to pry into everything dark. So you had to send something up to get around the dark side of the moon so you could see what was there. But God always keeps the bright side of the moon in front of you because it is the side that the light of the sun strikes that is responsible for causing the equalization of the waters of the earth, not the dark side. In every human being, there is a dark side. There is no perfect human being, from the Pope in Rome to the cardinals, to the sheikhs, to the mullahs, to the presidents, kings, emperors, potentates. All of us are sinful. All of us, as the Bible and Holy Quran teach, have fallen short of the glory of God. So, members of the press, dear hearts, if you're going to expose every wart, every pimple, every negative that you can find on anyone who would want to stand up to help the country out of this crisis, then the people that can help you most will stay away from this field, because they all, like all of us, have some blemishes. That's why they call it spotlight, because it shows up spots. And so if you don't want spotted people, then what you're saying is you don't want Bush, you don't want Clinton, you don't want Perot, because they got spots, warts, lumps, bumps, blisters, boils. You don't want the religious leaders. No, you don't. You don't want none of us. Who do you want? Him that is without spot or blemish. You are calling for God himself to come and take over the rule because nobody else is worthy. So, let me quickly go to the heart of this and we can go home. In the Quran, Allah says, consider the time. Surely man is in loss, except those who believe and do good and enjoin one another to truth and enjoin one another to patience. We are unsuccessful, brothers and sisters, not because success is not in us. We're just not operating according to what time demands. It's not white folks' fault. It's not Koreans' fault. It's not Palestinians' fault. It is our fault if we refuse to operate according to what the time demands. Now, what does the time demand? My subject was the black man must do something for self or suffer the consequences. Now, God has put on every human being a duty. And that duty is do something for yourself. And no spider calling another one. Hey, will you help me spin my web? What's wrong with you? Well, you know what I mean, I just don't seem to have it. Well, die then. Because I'm spinning mine and catching what's in mine. And if you get in mine, I'll catch you too. Because if you can't spin a web for yourself, you'll get caught in mine. Every creature is doing for itself. Here you are, my dear brothers and sisters. We say it's a sad day that we were brought to America and made slaves. I say no. It was a great day because God ordained it. We're here for 400 years in the most advanced society on the earth. That's a blessing. Even though they gave us hell, We were slaves, sure enough. Still are, many. They made it hard for us. The song said we came up the rough side of the mountain. And black people in America are coming up the rough side of the mountain. That's not bad. When you come up the rough side of a mountain, you come up tough. You come up hard. You come up not asking nobody for nothing because you made your way up that mountain. You come up more independent. You come up a stronger man than the man that came up the easy way. White folk have had it easy. Easier than we. And every time they could, they made it harder for us. But look how God was. God allowed us to survive it all. The worst slavery inflicted on any human being in history, we went through it. Not for a day, not for a year, but for over 300 years in chattel slavery. Turned inside out. Name gone, language gone, culture gone, religion gone, history gone, mind gone. But we made it through. 100 years up from slavery. Working for the slave master's children. Being robbed of our pay from subtle mind games, tricks, deceit, fraud, tax schemes. All of our land holdings in the South taken from us, or in our ignorance we sold it, or by neglect we lost it. Yeah, they put us through hell. But the Quran teaches that hell is meant for purification. Now you ought to ask yourself, if you're a Christian, why did God see fit that after Jesus went to the cross, he had to descend into hell before he could ascend into heaven? What was there in hell that Jesus had to learn and master before he could scale the heights of heaven in what is called his resurrection and ascension? He had to go down before he went up. When God takes you down, you may be angry with God, but God keeps his servants in a process that begins to purify them with fire and affliction and trial and tribulation. He purifies a servant that he's getting ready to use for great purpose. So before Jesus could go up, he had to go down. Now, if he had his way, I'm sure Jesus would say, look, Father, hey, Father, look. Now, I've been your faithful servant. I've done everything right. Why are you going to hang me up on this tree? Are you going to let these people nail me? You know they've been nailing everybody. Why are you going to nail me? He had to suffer a thief's death. He had to suffer the death of a person who commits treason against the state. But he had to suffer that. And then after that, they say he descended into hell. Hey, not only did he catch hell, he went there. Well, I think we're true followers of Jesus. Not only have we suffered hell, we are there in hell with the real devil. Now, those of you looking for a devil up under the ground, you can forget that. And Reverend, don't you teach that anymore. There is no power in the earth to hurt you. Now, there's a fire down there. And God gonna send you down there and you'll be burning eternally. A fire down there hotter than the sun. Why don't you stop lying? The earth is 7,926 miles in diameter. The center of the earth is 1/2 the diameter or the radius of the circle. Half of 7,926 is 3,863. The sun is 93 million miles away. And we feel its heat from 93 million miles. There's a fire only 3,863 miles away from us, and it's hotter than the sun, and we don't feel a damn thing on our feet. If we're that close to hell, we should never have a fuel bill. We don't need oil or gas. The heat from hell will generate enough heat to warm our house. It's ignorant teaching. Hell is not a place. Hell is a condition. Heaven is not a place. Heaven is a condition. Oh, Brother Farrakhan, don't misteach the people. I want to go to heaven. Me too, me too, me too. But how you gonna get there? What means of transportation you gonna use? Where is it? Is it out there in space? They got a telegraph out there, the Hubble telescope. Telescope, yeah. They spied Pluto. 4,600,000,000 miles from the sun. They got it. They're finding stars. Hundreds and thousands and millions of light years away. Do you know what that means? It means light traveling at the speed of 186,000 miles per second would take 1,000,000 or more years to reach the earth. And they spotted that sun or that star, but haven't spied no golden streets up there, no pearly gates up there. Pearl come from oysters. Oysters live in the depth of the sea. Gold comes from the deep veins in the earth. If you're going to have pearly gates and golden slippers, walking on golden streets with silken robes, talk to me, Muslims. Allah says in the Quran, I promise you gardens wherein rivers flow. I've never seen a garden in the sky unless we transport one to the sky in a space contraption. Rivers come from mountains. Snow gathers on the top of mountain, and the warm rays of the sun, as the earth turns, melts the ice and snow at the top of the mountain, and it runs down, forming rivers that empty out into oceans. You looking to find heaven No. No. The Quran calls that place that every Muslim should strive for the hereafter. Two adverbs, one of place and one of time. Where? Here. After what? After the wicked have been removed from power and authority, heaven will be here on this earth. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, the hereafter for my followers begins right now in this life. It starts here, in the mind. After truth comes and falsehood vanishes. After we accept the truth and it takes root in our heart, bringing up faith in God and in His Word, then our actions change. And we begin to change our environment. Our homes change. Our families change. Then the more we spread truth, the community changes. And everywhere you spread more truth and start living that truth, then kindness replaces bitterness, and love replaces hate, and racial conflict is replaced with racial harmony. But it starts with you, not somebody else. It don't start in the sky. It starts in your head. Heaven is up, but where's up if the earth is round? See, up is only relative to that which is down. If the earth is round, the people in the east are looking up, looking east. People in the west looking up too. People in the north looking up. People in the south looking up. Which way is up? If the earth is round and turning. So when we say heaven is up, above, it doesn't mean it's a place above the Cobo Hall. It means it's an elevated state above the condition of your mind and your lifestyle. It is a heavenly life. It is a good life. It is a productive life. It is a righteous life. So Jesus makes you say in the prayer, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So the earth is the place, and the people of the earth have to change, or they will be removed in this day and time. And this is why famine is being widespread, earthquakes, pestilence of every kind, because God is removing people. And you may not think so, but America is headed for hard days. Let me close with this. Please keep your seats. Please. This is, without a doubt, the greatest country on this earth potentially. I've been all over the earth, not in every country on the earth, but in most all of the earth. And there's not a country anywhere on the earth like this one. In spite of all its negatives, this is a beautiful country. I'm not talking about people now. I'm talking about the land.
You have desert, you have mountains, you have rivers, you have lakes, you have palm trees, you have tremendous green life. You have everything that you could imagine. You got it in this 3,000 by 2,000 square miles. You got the whole human family living right here in America. This is an experiment. We got black, brown, red, yellow, white. Every nation, every kindred, every tongue is represented in the United States of America. Here's the problem, though. We have not been able to get along one with the other. What's the matter? What's the matter? Why can't we get along? It's the way we've been taught. You see, when you as white people are taught that you are better, not because your character is better, you are better because you are white. And somehow by being white, that makes you better than a human being who is black. And when you teach through your religion, through your education, through your politics, through your symbolism, that black is no good and white is good, you are setting up human minds to become cold, stony-hearted to the cry of other human beings of color. And you will only hear the cry of another privileged white person such as yourself. So in Sarajevo, in Yugoslavia, white people are slaughtering each other. Great concern on the part of the governments of Europe and the West in America. Not the same concern when dark people are slaughtering each other. Because what the hell, let them kill each other. The less of them there are in the world, the better the world will be. Like we don't have humanity. Like God somehow made a mistake when he made black people. Everything in America feeds a racist mentality. Are you listening? Bear with me, please. So the mind of white America, the children feed on racial images. So they're bound to feel inferiority and superiority by the way they're trained. And when you feel you're privileged, you act privileged. Then the law doesn't apply to you. You are above the law. You are the law. Law is only for your subjects, to keep black people, dark people, people of color in line. Notice how quick Mr. Bush and his band want to bomb Iraq. But when it comes to sending troops to Yugoslavia, he doesn't want to send troops into Iraq either, not in a political year. But bomb them, yes. Because the United Nations now has become the new bully pulpit of America. Since the crushing of the Soviet Union, America now can use the United Nations and the nations of the earth to bring pressure to bear on any small nation whose government rule and policies seem disadvantageous to the
foreign policy objectives of this government. And so, one day it's the Syrians who blew Pan Am Flight 101 out of the sky. And they were so sure it was the Syrians. Now, recently, they came up with some magnificent information. It's the Libyans that did it. They know the two people who did it now. Oh, there's something. Now, that would make Sherlock Holmes stand up and take a bow with Dr. Watson by his side saying, "Bravo. Liars. For two men, you cripple a nation. You justify crippling Libya because you don't like Muammar Gaddafi, because he won't bow. You don't like Saddam Hussein, but you loved him when he was killing his Shiite Muslim brothers. You aided him to do that. You sent him weapons to do that. You gave him billions of dollars of American taxpayers' money. You propped up Noriega. You paid him to run drugs. Bush said he never met the man. Didn't we see a picture in the Washington Post with him sitting down beside Noriega? Liars. They turn on their own friends. Noriega gets life imprisonment, and Bush says he got what he deserved. Suppose an indictment comes down now against Ronald Reagan for keeping hostages in Iran so that he would get the credit politically. Let them stay in captivity a few more days so that I can get a political benefit. This is the nature of politics. Well, the book says everything that's done in the dark will come to the light. And so as these things surface, the American people get angrier and angrier, and the spirit of revolt and revolution is creeping into the hearts of the American people. This country has an opportunity to establish the kingdom of God on earth, to show that every human being can live in brotherhood. You got that opportunity because all of them live in America. But because of racism, you could never produce the quality life that would make human beings relate to each other as human beings. Because nobody wants to relate to you as a black person. They'll relate to some of these on the rostrum. These dignified, educated, successful brothers and sisters. Well, we'll let you in our neighborhood. You can come. Don't bring them other niggas with you. You can come.
Teach us, dear Father.
And they make us think we're special. And when we think we're special, yeah, you know, I'm the first Negro to live in that. I'm the first Negro to go to. I'm the first Negro to live. And you just about the last too. After you get to be the first, some of them throw bricks at your house, burn your house down, tell you I don't want no nigga in my neighborhood. America's not getting better, she's getting worse. You can't reverse this with Bush. You can't reverse it with Clinton. You can't reverse it with Perot. you can only reverse it with God and with his Christ or Mahdi. Because in the Bible it says there's no Jew, no Greek, no bond, no free, no male, no female. All are one in Christ. Stop. Then you haven't met Christ yet. You haven't met his teaching yet. Because we are all nationalistic now. Here's Irish national, Greek national, Italian national. Everybody looking for their banner. But in Christ, there's no Jew, no Greek. You don't talk nationality in Christ. And you know you don't talk nationality in Islam. You don't put the fact that you are from Iraq, Jordan, Lebanon, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Sudan above being a Muslim. All of the nationalistic things sink into subordination because the prophet didn't come to make but one nation. The nation of obedience to the will of God. He didn't come to make Egypt. Egypt was present when he came. He didn't come to make the kingdom of Saudi Arabia or the kingdom of Jordan. These are kingdoms made by oppressors, sanctioned by oppressors. He didn't come to set up the Arab Emirates. He came to make a nation of people not by color, not by hair texture, not by national dress, but by faith in one God, one major prophet who is the summation of all the prophets. Faith in the word of God and righteous action flowing from that faith. That is the nation that Muhammad wanted to build. But now we are Egyptians before we're Muslims. We're Sudanese before we're Muslims. Or you're an American before you're a Christian. You're an Italian before you're a Christian. Don't you realize that Christ supersedes all of that? Well, Farrakhan, you sound a little hypocritical because you around here teaching all that black stuff. So ain't that racism? No. That's the antidote for racism. Now, why is it an antidote? Hold on. Why is it an antidote? White people think you're better because you're white. Black people think you're less because you're black. The truth of black and white will settle the question. What is the truth? How old is the white man? No. Let's deal with facts. How old are white people? Well, we came from. Go ahead, theorize, talk to me. There's no sign of you, talking to white people, in any part of the earth other than Europe. There's no sign of you in Asia. There's no sign of you in Africa. There's no sign of you in Central America, South America, the Caribbean. Everywhere you went, you were a discoverer because you are new on our planet. So where did you come from? Muslims, don't be upset, Muslims. The Quran deals with color too, but it doesn't deal with color in a manner that any of us can take our color as a badge of superiority, because superiority is not measured by color. skin texture. Superiority is measured by one's duty to God. Huh? But the Quran clarifies the issue of color. Let's see what we're talking about. Allah says in the Quran, I'll get to the Bible in a minute, bear with me. He says, I, God, created man from what? The Quran says black mud, fashioned into shape. I don't speak Arabic, so there's Arab scholars, all your translations say black mud. Now, if it's white, it can't be mud. Hello. We all right? Sure. We're going to mess up this old racist talk. Black mud, he says, fashioned into shape. And he called the man Adam. Adam is the father of all living men. Eve is the mother of all living creatures. Now, if Adam was made from black mud, and the Quran says, I, Allah, created man from a single essence and his mate of the same kind. And the scholars admit in their research that Eve was a black woman. So Adam, the original Adam, had to be, can I get a witness? Had to be a black man. Now, had to be a black man. Now that hurts. I know it hurts. Some light-skinned people in the audience. What? Is that true? See, I'm challenging white supremacy now. I'm challenging light-skinned supremacy with truth. From the Quran, God started it off black mud. Then he said, I breathed into him of my inspiration. And when I made him complete, I said to the angels, make obeisance to him. He told the angels, bow down to a black man. And all the angels bowed except Iblis. And Iblis said, I'm not going to bow down to nothing that you made of black mud fashioned into shape. For I'm made of fire. And I'm better than he is. And Allah said to Iblis, what hindered you when I commanded you to bow? He said, I'm better. That's why I ain't bowing. That's what he said. Better. See? I'm better. And that's your thinking today. When you meet a black person, you say, I'm better. That's right. In our condition, brothers and sisters, everything is better. In our condition, dogs are better. In our condition, birds are better. In our condition, beasts of the field are better. For some animals have more love and compassion for their female and their young than do black men have for their women and their children. Yes. But God did not ask the angels to bow to a degenerate black man. He made him from mud and he breathed into the man of his own inspiration. So the black outer body contained the spirit, wisdom, and mind of the originator. So the black man originally is the first house of worship. I want you to listen good. That's why every time you go to Mecca, you kiss a black stone. You don't kiss no white one. You kiss a black one. And when you stone Jamarat, you stone in a white body of stone. Why? You think the scientists who put that up in Mecca didn't know what they were talking about?
That's right.
The Bible puts it, from one blood came all human beings. Who is that one blood? Well, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, not a racist, but a truth teacher, said that the black man is the original man. He's the first. All other human beings are called mankind, meaning a kind or species coming from the original. Now, oh yeah, this is nothing but truth. So if you want to boast in your color, white people, we got more to boast of. Because our color don't fade. Our color don't give us cancer in the sun. We don't have to run from the sun. We can run in the sun to the sun because we're the people of the sun. Give me a couple more minutes. Just a few more minutes. Just a few more minutes. Well, why are you teaching this, Farrakhan? It seemed to me that you're teaching all that black stuff to make black people rise up against white people. That's their first inclination. But when they know better, they know that God is not trying to give you a false pride. He's trying to erase the sting of death and erase the curse of white supremacy that made you feel because you're black, you're inferior. And at the same time that you teach that to a white person, you're busting up the mind of white supremacy because he has no argument. You come back with anthropology. You can't handle this. Because all the anthropologists, when they want to find the origin of man, they don't go to Europe. They found the origin of man where? In what you call Africa. Come on. You go now to genetics. One of your great white geneticists, Mendel, it was he who said that dark skin is dominant, light skin is recessive. Dark eyes are dominant, light eyes are recessive. You can get the recessive from the dominant, but you cannot get the dominant from the recessive. What he was saying was that the dark skin is the producer of the lighter skin, but the lighter skin cannot produce the dark skin. That's why two of you real light-skinned people can't produce no jet black fella. You just produce yourself. But that jet black man can marry a jet black woman and produce an albino, which is the very opposite of that, showing you that in us is a whole human family of the earth. This is why the Bible told you honor your mother and your father. that your days may be long in the land which the Lord your God gives you. Because before you came on the planet, we, original people, didn't have no home in Africa. Our home was the earth. And everywhere you go on the earth, you find a sign that we were already there. But we chose the best part of the earth for ourselves. And that best part was in that rich Nile Valley, what you call the Garden of Eden in Mesopotamia, where the Tigris and Euphrates River are. But when they show you the Iraqis today, they show you white Iraqis. When they show you Palestinians today, they show you white Palestinians. When they show you Syrians today, they show you white Syrians. When they show you Saudi Arabians today, they show you white Saudis. But let's tell the truth. The original people of that area are black people, black Iraqis, black Syrians, black Palestinians, black Saudis. But racism caused the whites to drive the black out and establish themselves in the Holy Land. Right to this day, we were the ones who civilized Egypt and built Egypt. But you pushed us out of lower Egypt into what you call upper Egypt and down into Nubia and Sudan. But we are the people of the Nile. We are the builders of the pyramids. We are the fathers and mothers of civilization. We are the root of Mexico. Original people, not light-skinned Mexicans. Your culture comes out of old Mex civilization, black civilization. Before there was a Magellan, before there was an Amerigo Vespucci, before there were these Johnny-come-lately sailors of the sea. We sailed the earth and knew the earth, and we knew the universe. And to this day, you can go in Africa where people don't even read, and they can tell you, now that star, it appears every so many thousands of years, and so forth and so on and so on. You say, where they get that knowledge? They're the original people. You go to the Native Americans, they didn't always look this whitey kind of color. They're original people. So don't start bragging on color, because you might find you don't have too much to brag on. You better leave color alone, because it was our essence of color that produced your color. We are your father. That's why Muhammad told the Arab, there is no superiority in the white over the black or the Arab over the non-Arab. He never did say there's no superior in the black over the white. He was trying to tell you that white supremacy would not work. And that one day a leader was going to come up out of black people for you. And Prophet Muhammad said, whether his face is like soot and his hair like dried raisins, if it comes with wisdom, don't let the black exterior rob you of a chance to live in heaven. In Christ, there is no sexism. And I must say that all religions have put women under. Not that God ordained that, but in our ignorance, misunderstanding, we have added our thing to God's word and have become oppressive of women. You don't know, sisters, how important you are in God's plan. But when an enemy was coming to the earth like you hide your jewels if you know a robber is coming, God ordered the woman to come in. Come in the house. Let the man go out and confront the alien that has come to the planet. Because the alien wants your woman. He wants to infect your woman with his ideas, with his mindset, with his diabolical mentality. So you must protect your female, because if the alien gets to your woman, she will produce children after the alien and not after you and after God. So just as the original people hid their ancient civilizations under sand and jungles, which the archaeologists are unearthing today, civilizations that are far superior to this one, buried under the sands. Our fathers knew that an enemy was coming, and they didn't want that enemy to profit from the best of their knowledge, so they buried it under sand, under the sea, and under jungles, and then put a pyramid out there and a lion out there with the head of a black man on it in the desert, to let all the world know that this black man is Abu el-Hawl. He's the father of the globe. He's the father of everything. And in due season, he will rise again. And he left that sign there for the European conquerors to know that you will never, ever destroy the original people. We are too much for you. And if we mix with you, we will destroy you. But you can never mix your weaker blood into us and destroy black. You've had us for 400 years, mixing your blood in us. I'm a light-skinned black man with white blood running in my veins, but look at my nose and look at my lips and listen to my rhythm. You know that I am of the root. All praise is due to Allah. As Muslims, we protect our women. Prophet Muhammad demanded that we protect our women. Prophet Muhammad demanded that our women lower the hem of their garments. Because, sisters, you are so beautiful. God made us to be attracted to you, and he made you to be attracted to us. And when a man sees any nakedness on you, it begins to change his thinking. I don't care how holy the man is. He has to be real holy to look on your nakedness, and it don't change his thinking. That's why women sometimes get beside themselves, because they know they got power. And they learn how to use that power and make a preacher put his Bible down, make an imam throw his Holy Quran away, make a Hindu or forget the Vedas. A woman can make you forget a lot of things, brother. She's a powerful creature. So Muhammad said, please, sisters, cover yourself. Have mercy on us. Cover yourself. But also, sisters, have mercy on yourself. Because you are not a creature to be played with. Do you know a crime against women is a crime against humanity? And when you rape a woman, that is worthy not of jail, but of death. And in our world, we kill rapists. Don't we, brothers and sisters? In the Islamic world, we don't let rapists live, do we?
That's right.
No. We don't let child abusers live. Oh no. If you're a father that likes sleeping with your daughter, sorry, father, you out of here. We kill you for that. Do you know why? Do you know why? Do you know why? Why has God made the law relating to family and marriage so harsh that if he catch you in adultery, stone you to death? If he catch you in fornication, stone you to death. If he catch a man wearing women's clothes, kill him. This is the law. And vice versa, woman dressing as a man, they kill you. They don't play. And these children that rise up and smack their parent, you only do that once. You're dead right away. Right away, they get rid of that child. And they don't do it in secret. They kill you in a way that everybody knows, uh-oh, they died. Yep. What they died for? Well, slapped his mother. Then the next fool will think twice before he raises his hand or her hand to her parents. God is very strict where women are concerned, because women are the base of every good thing that can ever come into the world. It will come through woman. Wait. I want you to think about what I just said. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, God made woman the heaven for man. The Quran says that in the woman, God made the woman that a man could find peace and quiet of mind in her. She's the natural consoler of the man. You can't console a man that ain't doing nothing. But when a man is doing what a man's supposed to do, he needs a woman to console him, to comfort him, and give him peace and quiet of mind. And that's why, sisters, no matter what your profession is, you are happiest when you have a good, solid relationship with a good, solid man. Is that true? Is that true? Now, I'm saying that to come to this. When a woman is raped or a child is abused by her father or her uncle, incestuous relationships, or abused by adults, what have we done? Little girls look up to men. Nothing is better to a little girl than a good father. She loves her daddy. He's the first man in her life. And for a father to take advantage of that exalted position and interfere with his daughter, in so doing, he robs the daughter of the ability to be what God created her to be for the man that she would ultimately choose. So when he destroys her, she's alive, but she's dead as a woman. She's dead because she can't trust men. You understand? When a woman gets hurt like that, she may marry you, but she can never totally give herself to you whom she married unless God comes and helps to relieve her of that horrible burden that she carries. And most of our women carry that burden of abuse. Some man, some family member, somebody that is respected, preacher, teacher, abusing the woman. And so God, in protecting the woman, kills the men that involve themselves in that. He kills those who break up family, because God can never make a great community unless he makes a strong family, and he can't have a strong family unless there's a strong marriage. So anybody that comes to interfere in the basic unit of civilization, which is marriage, God says stone them to death under Moses, or behead them under Muhammad. You kill them. That's hard to an adulterous generation. And that's why you don't have family life. You don't have marriages anymore. They're arrangements. Yeah, I'll live with you. No. You do the dishes, I'll do this, you do that. Forget it, they write contracts now. Sexism. Male superiority. We got to stop it, brothers. Women have a part to play in everything. And it is the denial of the mind of a woman that keeps all your politics imbalanced. And that's why you're killers and thieves and robbers and have no care for children. Your programs are anti-children, anti-future, anti-family, because you are anti-woman. And until this is reversed, and I say this to Muslims, I'm talking to Muslims now. I don't like to go to Mecca or Saudi Arabia. I love going to Saudi Arabia, but I don't like to see women herded on the back of the bus like cattle with their children. And in the front of the bus, there's 6 or 7 men with all these empty seats. But the woman can't go there because we believe in separation of the male from the female. But when you take things to an extreme, you produce rebellion. You understand? Women in Arabia can't drive vehicles. Women, I took my wife overseas. I was in Burkina Faso, and it was Friday, and I went to Juma prayer. Sister Tainetta Muhammad was there with us. The men were out of the hot sun in the mosque. No woman was in the mosque. And when my wife went to enter, the man said, I don't know what the hell he was saying in language, but he's telling me to get the hell out of here. You don't belong in here. Over there. And where he pointed, the women were praying, and their face was in the dirt, while the men were in the mosque. How in the hell are you going to get women to like a religion that puts them as inferiors in the mosque? Yet when you go to Mecca in Al-Haram, women and men walk around the Kaaba together. They pray together, but they can't do it in the mosque. Where did that come from? Is that Prophet Muhammad's teaching, or is that old Arab tradition, old Indian tradition creeping up to corrupt the culture of Islam? The women don't even have to go to the mosque. You stay home. You stay home. I go to the mosque. You go to the mosque, you see the men in the mosque. You don't see the women in the mosque. Oh, you crazy as hell, man. You don't want your woman in the mosque? You don't teach no children? She teaches the children. She shapes the destiny of the people. You should fill your wife's head with the Quran. Let her be there. She should be there more than you, because if she knows the book, like Tainetta knows the book and taught Rasul the book when he was a baby, she was putting it in him. That's why Rasul is what Rasul is today, and Ishmael is what Ishmael is today. It's because of a mother and a father who were embedded in the wisdom of God. A wise child maketh a glad father, but a foolish child is the heaviness of its mother. You make a woman silly, she'll make silly children. You make a woman wise, she'll make a great future for the nation. Materialism, nationalism. We have to be nationalistic to come up out of the condition that white supremacy has put us in, but we must not remain in nationalism. We must become as black is. Black is universal, for the whole universe was black, and God said, let there be light. So black is never national, it's universal. But in order to get to the universal, you go through nationalism to come to the universality of Islam. So anytime you love things more than you love people, and you take money with some dead white president on it, and you sell drugs to one another for this, and you kill one another for this, and you fall out as family members fighting over what the dead leave of this, then you've put this over human beings and the rise of human beings to the proper role. I close to the Palestinians who are present. See, you know that Allah forbids us to drink. Allah forbids it for us as Muslims. And this Quran tells you that every one of these people are Muslims. This is the nature in which every human being is created according to the Quran. They don't know that they're Muslims, but you know it because you got the book that teaches it. Then you want for your brother what you want for yourself. You're not a Muslim until you want for your brother what you want for yourself. But the problem is, you don't see these black people as your brother. You see them as savages, uncivilized, unregenerate heathens. That's the way the Koreans see us. That's the way white people who live from us see us. And that's the way we see one another. And that's why we're not in unity with self. And so I leave you with this thought. Any human being that places, don't leave. Wait till prayer said, please. Any human being who puts things over people becomes a thing. When you put things over people, you deprive yourself of your own humanity, and you set into operation a chain of circumstances that will ultimately be your own undoing. We must not be materialists. We must not be racist. We must not be sexist. We must be nationalists, but we must see that that is a means to an end. And when we grow as a people, then we must grow into the role as the father of all of the children that came from our loins. And so, black people,
You are called upon today not to beg white people to do something for you, but you are called upon today to unite and pool your resources and do something for yourself. You have a lot of money among you right now. You go to the shopping malls, you see us there spending. We are spending money every day, but we're spending foolishly. We walk by black stores to patronize others because we are envious of a brother or sister who may have a business. While if you patronize the brother or sister in business, the more they can expand the business, the more they hire their own, and joblessness begins to diminish. The Koreans have stores in every major city in America, and if you ask them, why are you doing this? They're doing this to give jobs to their own people. You and I can take over our own communities and serve our own needs. We can't do it individually, but if there are 6 of us or 8 of us with a similar idea, pool your monies. Say, brother, look, a laundromat is needed in this community. Let's get together and put up $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 and put a laundromat here. We'll watch it and make sure it's safe. That's not hard to do. If you don't have the money individually, then if 6 or 8 of you want to put up a little small supermarket, convenience stores, you can't do it individually, but if there's 6 or 8 of you together, get up, pool your resources, go into business, do something to help yourself. Stop being a beggar. To all my ministers, I hear that some of you complain you don't have enough money. I shouldn't take this up in the public. But it's no, I'm not exposing. That's not the idea. I'm teaching, not exposing, teaching. There's a difference. See, exposing somebody means somebody's hiding and you trying to bring them out and embarrass them. And you embarrass people, you're embarrassing yourself. That's not my purpose. That's not my purpose. Ministers, look, you sit around and you wait for people to come and take care of you. Now, the people should take care of you if you are leading them into greener pasture. The people are not going to mind if you take a little wool from the sheep and make a garment for yourself. But if the sheep is thin, haven't eaten grass in a long time, and they don't have wool, they just got a little something that's so short you could twist it with tweezers, then you trying to shave that, then the sheep have a right to revolt. Wouldn't you say so? Yes, sir. This is for reverends, imams, sheikhs, everybody hustling, wants somebody to take care of us, you know what I mean? It's like being pimps, and the believers become your whores that work for you, and you pimp them, or we pimp them. I put the we there. Although that ain't my mind or spirit, but I'm putting myself with you so you'll be more comfortable with what I say. Here, the nation has clean and fresh products. That's right. The nation has a newspaper. The nation has audio, video, tapes that are in demand. Talk to me. You sitting up in your office. Why not go out in that beautiful, dignified dress and knock on some doors? If Master Farrakhan could come
as a salesperson, putting silk on his arm, and built the nation from salesmanship. What's wrong with you? If you don't have any money, it's because you don't want none. But if you want money, you got a product, knock on the door. Look at how beautiful you all look. These Muslims are pretty. I mean, beautiful. Handsome. Aren't they good looking? Look at them. Yesterday they were thieves, cutthroats, gangbangers, crazy people. But the teaching of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad civilized us. And now we don't want to rob anybody, beat anybody, shoot anybody, kill anybody. We want to get busy raising our consciousness, raising your consciousness, so we can make some heaven for ourselves on this earth while we live. And so, brothers, sisters, these clean-cut men, if they came knocking on your door, and got to be careful now, because if she see a good-looking man at their door, clean-cut, handsome, 10 to 1, she may open the door. She may not be interested in what you got to sell. But if you can get past that, Master Farad Muhammad, a very good-looking man. And it was hard for any woman to keep her door closed when he knocked. That's why he was made that way, so she would open the door, but he wouldn't go in and take advantage of her. Because his aim wasn't to get in her bed. His aim was to get a message in her head. You understand? All right. So, if you go, ministers, knock on the doors of your people, talk to them, teach them, offer them your products, then give them a card and tell them, come to the mosque. You'll find them buying your products, but you'll find them liking you for the wisdom that you display, the courteousness that you display, the kindness that you display. And they'll want to know what is producing men like this. And they'll take that card and keep it. And they'll come and visit you at the mosque. And before you know it, the mosque will grow. And before you know it, your customer base will grow. You won't have to ask for money. You'll have more money than you know what to do with. You got to serve people. Jesus told them, don't worry about your coat. Your coat is out there with the people. I mean, I thank God that my enemies couldn't stop me from living. You understand? Many Jews don't like me, and they try every way they can to hurt me. You understand? But look, hello, thank you. Look, I wear nice clothes, and I'm not pimping. Best shoes white folks make, I got them on. Best cars he make, I drive. Because that's nothing. That's nothing. That's nothing. You serve people. God will put it in the heart of people to help you. I don't have to worry about electric bill, water bill. I have long time ago not ever thought of that. Mortgage payment. That's not on my mind. Car note. What is that? The people help me so that I don't have to think on those things. I can think on how to get my people out of the condition that they're in. God don't take you up out of poverty so you can sit down and lay around. That's right. He takes you up out of that condition so you can think for those whom you are commissioned to serve. To the beloved chief of police, We thank Allah for you, brother. We thank him for what you are trying to do with the men under you. I know you have a difficult job, and we are your servants to help you in any way, Chief, that we can to make your job easier. We need to form some kind of partnership that we can work together to clean up the community and make Detroit, which is 85% black, a showcase of black progress. It can happen with cooperation. You can't do it fighting your black mayor or your black police chief or your city council, but we got to be the kind of community that works hand in hand with those in authority to make life better for us. But we can't just send people and think they can wave a magic wand and change conditions. Your condition will never change until you change the condition of your heart. And so I say to all in this audience who stayed with me through this long lecture, thank you, Chief, for honoring me, for staying through this long lecture when I know you have many very important tasks to perform. I thank God for you, brother, and thank him for the mayor and for all of those who are striving in their way to help make Detroit a better city. But I don't think that Governor Clinton, if he becomes president, will send any more money to the city. We're going to have to find a way through cooperative effort to make Detroit what Detroit ought to be. She's the motor city, so let Detroit be the heart of America, pumping new ideas like you pump steel and pump cars throughout the world. Let's pump the idea of civilization. 250,000 Muslims. Rise up, Muslims, and do the duty that Prophet Muhammad laid upon you and us together. Rise up, Christians, in the name of Christ, and let's go after the man in the highway, the byway, and lift him up. Look at Dr. Watson here. Is Dr. Watson here? Stand up, Dr. Watson. Dr. Watson started a school for men, for young men. They're fighting Dr. Watson. No, don't fight this man. The black man is a unique man. He does not need to be trained with women. That is not discrimination. That is intelligence. He's a man and he needs specific training to make a real man out of him. Just like you got school for the blind, school for the deaf, school for the dumb. Well, the black man is blind, deaf, and dumb. He needs a class of his own to raise him and make him a man again. Keep up the good work, Dr. Watson. Stand up, Sister Shelby. This is our directress of the University of Islam, a black woman teaching black boys and girls to make something of themselves. We can take over the public schools and make them better, since it ain't but us in there anyway. Oh, excuse my language. We are the only ones there, or the majority. So when you leave this place, resolve in your heart and in your mind, I am going to make a change. And when you start right here. Listen, on your way out, here's what you do. Look at all these black people. You don't know them. You never met them before. Start right now. On your way out. How are you, brother? Shake his hand. How you doing, sister? Not with no funny motor. Here, baby. Time out for that. Just say to your sister, how you doing, sister? And start being kind to each other. When you see the elderly, step back. Open the door for your elders. They're afraid to let you carry their packages lest you carry them away. But if you will make a change, just you in this room, the chief's job will be easier. And we would start making a productive Detroit. And the whole of black America will look to Detroit. Like we look to Harlem for all the cultural trends, we should look to Detroit for the spiritual and intellectual trends for a nation. Why don't you take your place, Detroit? Detroit should be number one. Detroit has the capacity to be number one. Then take your place. That's why Master Farrakhan named this mosque number one. She's the number one city. Then go on and be yourself. And make all black America look to Detroit. You want to know how to make things work? Look at Detroit. You want to know how to respect black women? Look at Detroit. You want to know how to see productive black people? Look at Detroit. And Detroit is filled with Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Texas, New Orleans, Louisiana, Florida, Palestinians, Iraqis, Iranians. You got everything here. But let's try to make it work. God will never change the condition of a people until they change the condition of their hearts. And Jesus said, circumcision. You know, Jews used to cut away the foreskin of the penis. And the Quran said all males should be circumcised. But Jesus said, yeah, you're putting too much emphasis on the circumcision of the penis and too little emphasis on the circumcision of the heart. And just as the male organ, when it is uncircumcised, carries an awful lot of bacteria, this is why they ask us to cut away the foreskin, so that when a thing is in a dark place, covered, bacteria grows there. Right? So you have to put the organ of life in a condition where you can constantly wash it, so that when it is introduced to its counterpart, it doesn't introduce disease as it introduces the germ of life. So it is with your heart. When you cut away the spiritual foreskin of the heart, then the heart can be washed. When you pray, you bathe the heart. And this is where all the vain imaginations and madness starts, right up here, doctor. And unless this is cleaned, we won't ever be a changed people to produce a revolution in the world. May God bless us to cut away the foreskin of the heart, and through prayer, wash the heart, that a clean word will come out of our mouth, and clean actions will flow from our hands, and our feet will walk the path of peace. And then we will be called the children of God, the blessed of the Most High. Thank you for listening as I greet you in peace. Assalamu alaikum. I'm going to have prayer. All praise is due to Allah.